and welcome everyone. My name is T.S. Wolf. I use they, them pronouns. I'm a junior literature theater major who works in the admissions office, in tutoring, and at the Performing Arts Resource Center here at Reed College in Portland, Oregon. And today it is my pleasure and my privilege to welcome you to a tour of my absolute favorite building on campus, Reed's Performing Arts Building, also known as the PAB. So before we go in, I'm going to sort of give you a walk around the building to get you a chance to look at it from the outside. So the first thing that I always like to point out on my tours is that you do not have to be a performing arts major to be heavily involved in the performing arts on campus. When I first arrived here, I was a philosophy major and I was almost a political science major for most of my sophomore year, but I was still able to get involved in the chamber choir, the a cappella choir, and I was in several of the theater productions. And I am not an atypical example in the sense that more than 3/4 of the people who are involved in Reed College main stage productions are not actually performing arts majors. All right, I think you've seen enough of my face for a little while, so I've switched around the camera. I'm just gonna show you what it's like walking into the Performing Arts Building. We're on the 3rd floor, as you can see by looking down this ramp. Welcome one and all to the PAB. So we've made it to the 3rd floor of the PAB. Over here we have room 320, which is the rehearsal room for many of the choir and orchestra events on campus. I had many a collegium rehearsal in here. Back there are some lockers where people can place and store their musical instruments. Over here we have the park, which is Reed's Performing Arts Resource Center. It's very cool. It's sort of a multimedia library for all things performing arts. We have music scores and DVDs and CDs from like any musical generation. And you can rent out all sorts of audiovisual technical equipment. So over here in a remote corner of the 3rd floor, we have the design studio, which is usually much more cluttered than it is right now. It's not currently in greatly active use, but in ordinary times, it's a very helpful place for people to work on design projects for their theater compositions. This can include building set models, costume design. A lot of production meetings happen in here. And then over here, you can sort of make out the floor for our dance studio, which is amazing and spacious and wonderful. We're gonna make our way down now to the 2nd floor. So we've made it to 2nd floor. And over here we have our practice suite. Anyone who's enrolled in a music class or has been enrolled in a music class or just has authorization for one reason or another can access this 24/7. Here you can just make out a view of our performance lab, which is currently serving as a 2nd dance studio, as indicated by those yellow squares. And here's a display case honoring all of our current Reed College Performing Arts seniors. Your face may be up here too someday. Over in this direction, we have our Black Box Theater, one of the 2 main theater spaces in the Performing Arts Building, though we've also definitely had performances that are just down there on the floor or out in a specific site on the campus. And of course, we have the Annex, which is across the way, and the Green Box Theater. There are so many performance spaces on campus. Over here is a really nice study space. Excellent view. There's so many great spaces like this, open up, fairly quiet, and right next to all of your performing arts needs. Okay, so we're gonna head down to the 1st floor of the PAB now. Over here is the box office for many of our productions, and down this hallway there is a place where we have the scene shop and the costume shop. These are both places where students can work, but we also have on-site staff who are there to explain how things work, keep things safe, and help build sets and costumes for the shows. Over here is where in ordinary times we would be accessing the faculty offices. It's a nice spot to hang out and sort of wait for faculty as well. This is room 104. It is a classroom. There aren't just theater classes that happen in here or music classes, although there are plenty. There are anthropology classes that have taken place in here. Let's see what the schedule is right now. Oh yeah, we have 1st year Greek. And this is also a space where an on-site performance took place last year, a piece of interactive theater that was sort of in an office or classroom setting by its very nature. And over here we have our large studio theater. It's one of the big places for main stage performances on campus. We built the set for the 3rd act of Rhinoceros in here, a show that we did this year which was in part a podcast, in part a interactive click-through graphic novel, and in part a 3-person scene, which was filmed with 1 person in the studio at a time and then edited together to make it look like they were all in the same space. Thank you all so much for taking part in this journey and exploration of the Pab with me. I hope to see you sometime at Reed.